What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Happy new moon in Aries. That's happening tonight. So definitely a big deal, really kicking off big time this new energy forward. So we're going to take a look at the charts and go through this together. All right, well, as we work up towards the new moon, we are going to see that moon come into Aries today. It's going to leave Pisces. It's still dark moon for most of the day, but it's like definitely more identifying. It's more putting a noun to life, putting a name to it, putting a name to yourself, really feeling into your own emotions, your own empowerment. A lot of fire, right? So we now have the moon, although very, very balsamic for today, Mercury and the Sun, and of course Chiron, but all in Aries. So definitely, it could be an energetic new moon. Even with a dark moon, it's like usually new moons are pretty subtle, but they haven't been for us because we've had so many new moons in aspect to Uranus as we just go around the zodiac. I mean, they've all been aspecting Uranus. So it just has been happening that way where the new moons over the last year especially have just not necessarily been the most subtle of energies because there's that Uranian impact behind it. This one, of course, we're getting ready for that semi-sextile to Uranus, but it's definitely not as major as, per se, the squares and the trines and the sextiles. But it is that like blind spot here of this accelerated physical reality and these value systems and where those are going. And this is the last new moon before an eclipse, April 30th, in Taurus with Uranus. So quite the identifying times here today, but I think we can kind of feel a burst of energy. It might be a lot of energy, to be honest. It might be feeling like almost a little bit more like a full moon than a new moon. It's going to empower you through ways that you maybe weren't expecting. And maybe that's the blind spot to Uranus here in Taurus as well. Kind of like, oh, wow, I have to go into this place. Sun at 11 degrees, that's a very Chiron degree to me. It's where the self analyzes the self. And it reminds me of Virgo, where we can want to definitely be a little hypercritical or analytical towards ourselves or others. But we do want to, hold compassion. Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces, even though the moon's out of there, it's like, all right, we're all kind of feeling something in life right now. We're all feeling where there's a new energy coming in or old energies going away. Everybody's kind of going through it in their own way right now. So have compassion for that when it comes to people. And don't be too selfish with all this Aries energy, remember that other people exist too. And I think, of course, pay attention to the stuff that you have to go through, but try and be, a little gentle. And maybe that's where we can find some purity in ourselves, is like this gentle kind of healing aspect. It's also a degree away from Chiron, and the sun's going to conjunct Chiron tomorrow after this new moon. There's just a lot, there's so much healing in this new moon, to be completely honest. It can feel like a very vulnerable time or sensitive time as we're closing out these Piscean cycles. But it's showing you how much work you've put in to find your warrior essence here in Aries, to find your identity and how you can keep pushing, especially with Pluto finishing up in Capricorn. We're all having to find that grit here and keep things kind of progressing forward in a way that isn't a victim, in a way that, we can empower ourselves. And it's almost like empowerment through not feeling powerful, but it is that hypercritical look at self and be like, you know what? No, I've got to this point for a reason, or I can keep pushing here and God's opening up doors here and I'm not going to stop, leading with your soul, not your head with Aries, like I've been saying this week, but definitely a lot. The moon will meet with Mercury today, which is a nice alignment, even as Mercury gets closer to the sun for their conjunction. Mind and emotion could be on the same page for how to empower yourself, how to, focus your emotions or even your intellect into a direction and define it and go, or, definitely communicate. I think that communication will be big today for whatever it is, where people are maybe being overcritical of others or overcritical of themselves. Like, definitely going to be a vulnerable time with Sun Chiron and Moon on Mercury. Like, people are going to say things. People are going to be a little blunt. I feel like we could all maybe need to be a little blunt as Venus is done with the square to the nodes, but Saturn and Mars and Juno are still square the nodes. And I do think that this is showing us where we can commit to building a better life, where we can commit to people, where we can see where people are a part of this journey with us, and how we can kind of go at it together. But it's also with the aspects to the South Node in Scorpio, it's almost like new people can be coming in or old people can be leaving really quick right now. And being able to let things go and focus on your own healing, focus on your own identity and the people that see that and that are uplifting and empowering you. And hopefully there's that win-win with people right now to where you're doing the same for others. And I think that's where a lot of people are at right now, because a lot of people have put in that work to kind of find out who they are. And I think that today brings that up a lot. Like, yeah, that ran its course. I graduated from these people, these groups, these relationships, or even just these value systems, and I'm ready to commit to the higher echelon and the top shelf value, if you will, and what that can bring or look like. We're also going to see the moon semi-square Saturn. We're starting to see the sun semi-square Saturn, or it's coming off the semi-square Saturn, but it's starting to semi-square Mars. So there's definitely a lot of these like semi-square 45-degree energies of like, there's like hidden tension. It's almost like there's a lot of things in our blind spot right now that we need to pay attention to and not just be too impulsive and like look over the fine detail. I feel like there's little things that are showing up right now that are very important with our connection. They're either crystal clear or we're not paying enough attention. And that's like Jupiter, Neptune. Like, where's our attention taking us out of this reality and not having us focus on the things that need to be focused on so that we can take this great next step into empowerment and into self-love and value and relationships that match that frequency and that energetic signature behind it. So we do get the new moon at 11:24 on the west coast, and I love that Jupiter overtakes Saturn. Now what's crazy, right, is like that last chart I was looking at just 12 hours about before. It's like Saturn's got Jupiter 8-5, and then you get to the new moon and they switch. So we got, all these strong energies. I mean, this is a force of a new moon. Usually it's the full moons that are like forces and bring everything out and people get a little crazy or you get lunatics. This one's got a lot of abundance, I think, for the people that are ready to empower themselves. That's what this is going to be all about. It's new things with Aries. It's starting life. It's initiating, defining, identifying. These are going to be powerful things, and I think they're also going to be part of the key with Chiron there, is that can you identify right now with your path, with your direction in life? And it's not about worrying what other people think of you or being hypercritical about other people or getting sucked into the drama almost even, or the intensity of what other people are going through, or the psychology of what other people are going through with that South Node in Scorpio, squaring Saturn, squaring Juno. It's much more like you got to identify with your shit, you got to handle it, and you got to initiate forward here, and you got to like find your warrior essence, like you're a spiritual warrior. You came here for this time to be such and to lead powerfully in your own life. Now, maybe not lead other people, maybe lead other people. I don't know. That's your life, but at least lead yourself to where you need to go and to initiate the things in life that bring that empowerment and direction. And it's, it can, I think we can want to be impulsive in many ways or feel like we have to do things right here, right now. It doesn't have to be a rush. Like, I feel like this energy can want us to rush things, but there's still a patience with the North Node in Taurus, square Saturn. It's like, be patient for things in life that are a really good connection. Don't stick around in stuff that's not. But there's choices and decisions, and Mercury's semi-square that Saturn too, and Mars, and Venus is semi-square this new moon too. So there's a lot of this semi-square energy here that's definitely forceful in a blind kind of way. Like dedicating to the right people seems more important than ever. Getting out of systems of control, building new ways to value, building a new life of value, making sure things that aren't showing up anymore are put them to rest. There's a lot of that. Like you have to boss up and put things to rest and start new things if you can tell that you graduated. You can feel it probably psychically, intuitively, emotionally. Like there's a strong like knowing of what's working and what's not right now, and we can try and patch things up or push things under the rug or not see clearly. But I feel like this new moon's like, hey, this is a cycle of kind of blunt identification, owning up to how you're really feeling, and being able to say it, being able to make something happen. Now maybe it does take time, but it's like one step after the other here, and don't give up, don't quit. This is definitely trying to start a cycle here that's pretty relentless. Especially for spiritual mission kind of stuff. To be honest, Pluto at 28 Capricorn, like Capricorn rules destiny. Pluto's finishing up there, so there's something about everybody at this time is starting to see that like reality and the structure of the place that we live, call it the matrix, call it what you want, has changed. Time has changed. And this is really, in my opinion, one of the most important new moons moving forward into the rest of this year of like, you got to be strong and you got to plant the seeds that are going to grow. And if things aren't growing, you got to, start over. You can't keep putting all your beautiful plants and all your beautiful things that you want to grow into soil that isn't fertile. Taurus is very fertile here at the heart of spring, and we're coming up on eclipses there. So this is a time to really put your energy into things that can grow, that are beautiful, that are stable, that you want to identify with, that are on your frequency, and the people are so important to that too. And I think people are showing up in people's lives right now at a very synchronistic time because they're part of this new growth. And then there's also people that have been in our lives for a while that are leaving because they aren't part of the new growth. And that can be hard for people, and we can want to hold on because of the emotional nostalgia or just the feelings and the commitment that was once there. But if it's not there, it's not there. And that's where it's like full-on connection or full-on disconnection. And that's where Saturn's saying you got to make big moves here. And as a collective, we're all feeling that. And it's likely that, people that show up could be here for many years with Saturn into the future. And Venus met with Saturn, and Mars is with Saturn. There's something about people going into this next, 14 years, this, Saturn, till Saturn comes into Leo, like half a Saturn cycle, that seems very important. And maybe people that were in your life for the last 14 years you're starting to see if the connection's really there. If you're going into the same, wave here with Aquarius, are you going into the same wave with people in your life? Are they going into that wave or that wave? And can you connect the two, or do you just have to go into your wave? So I think that's where intention is so important in this, is to be committed to a better life, a better frequency, better connections. People are very important. Don't commit to people that are going to show up in non-committed ways that are manipulating or power control stuff. That's what we're getting out of. It's like empowerment of self. And it's almost like self-mastery is coming for a lot of people. And that's, kind of a silly thing to say, because do we ever really master self? I don't know. But it's like the constant pursuit of self-mastery that is maybe where we're at right now, because we're going to need it to get through wherever this crazy reality is going to go. It just feels like we're at the brink of some huge changes. If you thought 2020 was a big change, yeah, that was probably baby food compared to the changes that are actually coming. And that doesn't mean that they won't be good changes. They're just changes. So we're getting ready to fix a lot of our connective forces in life, and we have to be very intelligent, very smart, and direct. And this cycle is going to definitely help us with that, in my opinion, a lot. But can't be a martyr, can't be a victim, can't be some wounded warrior. Got to be strong. Be strong, be direct, be who you are. Don't care about what the world or what other people think of you. Just be you in the most authentic and real form. It's like there can't be a mask anymore. You just have to show up with your soul's integrity every day and pursue whatever that is that you feel called to, and things are going to grow, and a lot of beautiful things can show up in our life. But yeah, it's not going to go well for people playing the victim during this lunation cycle. So just putting my warning out there, don't be the victim. Be empowered by whatever shows up so that you can start and move forward and pursue something amazing. Because this is where we start. This is a new moon in Aries. This is like the start of all starts. It's a big one, and all the planets are direct, and Jupiter's holding it down with the highest score in the chart, which we haven't seen Jupiter outtake Saturn in a very long time. Long time. Probably like 2017. And even then, I don't know. It's a long time. So that's beautiful in itself, because there's a lot of abundance to people right now who are knowing their wisdom, who are seeing life with a positive outlook and looking for happiness and abundance in their life, and getting ready to create that, and to do it with their soul and compassion and a channel. I feel like there's a lot of channeled stuff coming from people, and it's whether you want to identify with what's coming through as of a higher source, or if you want to identify with it as your ego. And that could be the hard part for this lunation too, because it's with Chiron, and Chiron's in Aries. Like if we're just leading with ego, that has the potential to be very unsatisfying, and I think ego's a good thing. I'm not one to ever say ditch your ego. Ego's the most, it's just a thing. We all have a Mars, right? We all have Aries in our chart. We all have Mars. It is what it is. It's a part of us. It's how we identify and make shit happen. But it's like a healed ego right now that knows its connection, that knows its boundaries, that knows what it can create, is so important, and knows how to express itself in the most authentic and compassionate way, but with a high integrity and a high character of self. Can go a long way here as we move forward. So any intention around pursuing life right now, to get abundance, to start things, to grow life, to identify with yourself, and to identify with the past even, but to know it's the past, and to stay in the present and not jump too far into the future, but commit to where your future can go. See the vision, see the dream, but do the thing here to get the ball rolling. If you know you need to get the ball rolling, don't wait. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I think we do need to find new things here. I think there's a lot of ideals of what was top shelf in life before, and there is alternative ways to make life happen right now. So it's not going to be maybe the traditional route. I don't think it is. A lot of these squares to Aquarius are like break tradition, green light to identify and start things that aren't traditional. As long as they have compassion and love and a higher calling built behind them, they're going to pay out in the end. And I think that can be a little scary to like start things that it's like, it's all new. It can be very new. Five of Swords upright. Maybe we need a little mental stimulation right now to kind of get things firing. Maybe it's some conversations that are had. Maybe there is some intensity that has us realize something and come to an understanding, but maybe there's a conflict involved, or Maybe it's just like literally because there's people walking away in this card always, and then they just dropped their swords and walked away. I feel like there's definitely energy that's like there's certain things that are getting cut away right now, and I think we got to be mentally strong to kind of hold our ground in a lot of ways and stay true to who we are, and not give in for something that we don't want to identify with or something that's trying to control, but to stay mentally sharp for pursuing a new value. And the Ace of Coins. Yeah, there's definitely new beginnings, 100% that are starting right now. And we're going to see a lot of what that looks like. And maybe they are just this like gift from God here that give you the most abundant life. We don't know what ultimately the world's going to do. So don't worry about it. Don't put all your energy into chaos. Put your energy into beautiful gifts that can grow and sprout and blossom and bloom and have a great harvest once all said and done of the things that you really do want. And seven of Pentacles. Dedicate. Keep working. Don't get down because we have to work in life. Like we always have to work for something. We have to stay persistent to get the value and to get the investment and that harvest. So I think there's a lot coming. It's just like there's work to be done. Don't be afraid to do that work, whatever it may be in your life, to get where you need to go or to do what you want. And definitely don't pay attention to what other people are trying to tell you is best for you. This is a time to identify with what's best for you. And ultimately, you know what that is. And if other people come through with advice and it resonates, take it. If it doesn't resonate and it doesn't feel right to you, it's not you. And it's not going to pay off in the end. So I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful new moon. And I will see you all for Friday's horoscope tomorrow. Much love. Peace.